Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Ashton in the Metaverse, where we talk everything that is the Metaverse, this brand new phenomenon that's taking over the world. I'd like to welcome Chris Armstrong back onto the show. Chris, in fact, a couple of weeks ago was our very first guest onto the show. So how are you doing today, Chris?
Yeah, very good. Thank you. Thank you for welcoming me back on, and I'm happy to be talking with you again.
Absolutely.
As for how we're doing, incredibly busy, eternally tired, as you can see from my eyes. But yeah, I think we're doing quite well in the industry.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, those of you that have been following Ashton Talks Crypto over the past year will know that what we've decided to do is bring on some regular, really kind of well-educated contributors in the crypto world, in the metaverse world, legal, regulation, education, and things like that. And Chris Armstrong is a fantastic candidate for that. And so we'd like to welcome him as one of our regular contributors with regards to that. Now, I know you're welcome, Chris. Now, for those of you that didn't see the first podcast with Chris and Ashton in the Metaverse, for our viewers, Chris, please, once again, explain who you are and what you do.
Yeah, so I'll try and do it in short this time. I'm Chris Armstrong. I founded Chase Reality Metaverse, which is essentially the first free, open, and full stack metaverse. Essentially, in very short, for everybody to stop complication, it's the internet 0.2. That's it. It's not all the stuff which is being marketed and advertised out there to sell you something. It's free and open. So I founded that, and my background before that was in the security industry, where I worked with governments at a top secret level, and military first at top secret level, and then the government after as a private contractor or close protection officer. So we focused very heavily on security, openness, and transparency. That's our key goal, and of course now education as well as that progresses.
Yeah. Well, it's fantastic, and it was great that we kind of we met up together because with Ashton Talks Crypto, as you know, and Ashton in the Metaverse are primarily educational spaces. So, of course, we're not trying to sell anything to people. We're not trying to build the hype as pretty much 99.9% of companies or people that are advertising out there in the space on YouTube and all of the other social media platforms. We're here just to give kind of a non-biased education and information to people out there. This is the beginning. It is very fascinating. It's very exciting. But of course, with everything like this, we need to be brought down to earth, I think, just a little bit, and understand what the policing or the ethics of what this is all about. It's going to be Gen Z that will be kind of really getting into this into the future. So I think it's very important to start by how we mean to go on with regards to this.
Yeah, I completely agree. I mean, with regards to policing, as you say, Chase Reality is completely free and open, so people can essentially just come, build a space. However, if they were to try to, say, sell drugs, weapons, harmful content captured of women or children and the like, then we will police it in the sense of we can pause their content and then share and report the IPs to local authorities, both where we are, which we're now in Singapore, and now officially Texas, and soon in the UK. So obviously they'll be our main ones. But for instance, if it was coming from Nigeria, we would try and reach out and do that as well. But I'm trying to just shorten everything this time because I realize I do kind of harp on a bit. So just to simplify it and to cover a lot of areas. So we're trying to police it in that sense, but that doesn't mean controlling. So people's spaces are their own business, their own property. Just essentially don't do anything immoral and stupid. Overly simplify it.
Absolutely. Well, what we're trying to do, again, with Ashton Talks Crypto and Ashton in the Metaverse, is bring all of our listeners, the breaking news, the latest news that's going on in the world at the moment. And of course, over the last couple of days, there has been some major things going on over in between Russia and the Ukraine, and probably the rest of the world, as we all know about. Chris, in your opinion, how do you think this is going to affect everything that we are doing with regards to crypto and the markets in general?
So just crypto-wise, I mean, you can see in the markets at the moment, it was officially released on BBC, I think, today. about the invasion, and crypto suddenly started falling. And it's falling quite hard. I think what's happening is people over in those areas who are going to be directly affected immediately, I think they're trying to cash out, so they have cash to deal with it. But I think in the long term, it will actually be very good for crypto, because if you remember from the stock crash, where essentially the economy crashed around the world, countries like Turkey actually started taking their countrymen's money out of the bank to cover the bill. And I think if you hold crypto, that will be a way for people to now transact, and they're almost going to be forced to use it as a utility to pay for bread, milk, and such with maybe local vendors, possibly even fuel and things. So I think it will kind of force even governments to simply get on with utilizing it, and it will slow down the political side of it. Hopefully, it'll be a positive thing. It's a terrible shame what's going on with Russia and the Ukraine. You know, obviously, there's nothing that we can really do with that, other than try and be as supportive as we can within our own space. So within the metaverse side of things, hopefully we can enable people to keep on going. So in that sense of, we can offer a space for people to store their personal information if they wish, because it's all encrypted, whether they want to launch a website for their business. Again, it's theirs, they own it. We honestly don't even have any access to it. We're happy to show the back end of that in the near future for transparency. Yeah, it's really just how can we support, and before people, you know, kind of get it in their minds, well, that maybe there's an angle they're making money. We do make money, but or we will make money, and that will be through Google advertising, so like a banner ad. So we don't hold people's data. We're trying to be as helpful as we can, and essentially be what I call good actors. So we're going to be very supportive to the community. And on Facebook, for instance, within, I think, about 3 weeks, we've actually grown several hundred genuine supporters and users. And we've been blocking what I call bad actors like crazy, just kind of reducing the impact of that. So people who are shilling bad information or just trying to sell something to vulnerable people who aren't educated yet. So we're then moving on to the education side of it as well. So we're going to be hopefully doing a conversion of the entire metaverse site. So you have the site, and then you have the metaverse embedded inside of it, which is free and open. So yeah, so hopefully we can be supportive in that sense. You know, it's somewhere for people to sort of back up their servers and such. We have one person in the US actually whose website was about to go offline, and we duplicated it for them, and now their business can keep on trucking. They can use the same business cards, things like that. So we can hopefully help people who are going to be affected by this war. So just coming full circle with that. And yeah, hopefully we can have some positivity from this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're right. It's double folded as well. When you think about, of course, what's going on here between Russia and the Ukraine at the moment, but also you've got scenarios that are happening over in Canada as well, where, you know, bank accounts
with the truckers.
Frozen. And I think there's without a doubt there's going to be a need, or definitely a want from the general public to kind of want to, you know, stash something somewhere else, for want of a better word, and also to know that they're being looked after and protected at the same time. Now, you mentioned about earlier on, you mentioned about shilling, and also what I've seen a lot on the you know, going like wildfire across the internet and social media is tokens as well, and selling tokens. First of all, explain to us a little bit what shilling means, and also what tokens mean, and what these guys are trying to do with regards to that.
Okay, I'll try and do it as short and sweet as I can, and as simplified as possible. Shilling is simply promoting, as simple as that. This cup here is the greatest cup in the world. Yada, 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 you need one. The next cup provider, useless, only lasts 2 months. That's essentially shilling. It's bigging up something and claiming it has greater worth. What is a token? Super simple. You have a main blockchain, such as Bitcoin or Ethereum, and then you have side blockchains, which are tokens. So Ethereum, would create it. I think is Polygon on Ethereum. I think so.
Yes.
So that would be a token. It's a side of it. Basically, it's not on somebody else's chain. It's created on their chain. We have a token called Soul Token, which was built on the Waves platform. So because we didn't create the code, we didn't launch its own independent code, which you can actually copy, say, the original Bitcoin chain and make a coin. But now you're going to have to utilize mining, so proof of work, or you're going to need to use staking. So that's very, very shortly. Shilling, promoting tokens, they're a side chain. Yes. Yeah, a token made on somebody else's chain. Simple.
Yeah, sure. No, fantastic explanation. And what about the red flags with regard to this? Again, because, you and I are in the know. And of course, we were just talking about, there are what you would call the mainstream general public, well, as I call them anyway, that are starting to knock on the door and look and listen at crypto, at Bitcoin, at what's going on in the metaverse. And the first thing really that kind of comes along with that is a possible very, very good investment to the likes that you've never seen before, return on investment, likewise like that. So what are the red flags really that people need to be looking out for so they don't get their fingers burnt straight at the beginning?
Okay, I think, again, as simply as possible, it's kind of like the American dream is being sold up the river to people with hope and a small amount of savings, or even people who are willing to put every bit of their paycheck outside of their rent and food into a project or NFTs or something. But just looking at NFTs now, I'm not sure whether you're aware, but 2 days ago, I'm not sure whether it was OpenSea or another one, but within the past week, both OpenSea and another platform, I think it was called Crush or something alike. I'm sure someone can correct us in the comments, but both of them have come under scrutiny and legal precedents because for Crush, I think it's called Crush anyway. What's happened is essentially someone's created what they call art. It's not art in my opinion, but anyway, so they're putting it up there for sale. Someone's buying it, and then I think somebody else has taken that same image and they're minting it on another blockchain, which is actually what I mentioned in our previous talk, what will happen, and it was a bit of a joke. So now people are actually suing these platforms, for millions of dollars. We're talking about individuals, and there's, tens of thousands of people looking to sue, which is insane. It would just crush these platforms. Now, if these platforms do get crushed, your NFT's gone. Bye-bye, forget it, your investment. So this is the red flags. People aren't doing their due diligence. They don't know the simple fact is an NFT is just a receipt. It's a piece of code. It's not even the image. A blockchain can't sustain images being glued onto the blockchain. Every time, for instance, Ethereum is going, it's having to mine your image every time. That's insane. We just don't have the power to do it. So people are going to lose everything. Yes. And with Crush, I think that has basically happened. I think I saw a post and on Facebook, and they were saying, thank you for all the support, but we're closing down. It's all gone. Yes. Goodbye. Now, someone can probably clarify that. Now, whether it will be saved in your wallet or not, I'm not entirely sure, but I don't believe that the wallet supports sending an image, which is what it is, from one wallet to another. Yes, that's correct. So even if you might be able to see the image in your wallet, even if you send it, there's not yet the ability to see that. Perhaps maybe I'm wrong. Maybe someone's got a wallet where you can do that. However, the value of it is gone because you can't now sell it on that same platform. Yeah. So how are you going to upload it to the next platform? Yes, no, of course. Well, so people are. Yes, yeah. No. I was going to say people are essentially getting scammed that way. Yeah, they're misinformed.
Yes, no, absolutely. And as I say, I think we spoke in our first chat that there's not a lot of places where people can find. You go onto YouTube, for example, today, and type in the metaverse, and it's sell. And how to make this amount of money, how to make that amount of money. I mean, as you know, I come from an investment background, and the ideology of investment is realistically, to invest in anything that is not 100% just putting your money in the bank and leaving it there and making a few percent a year.
Just quickly, let me ask you, would you rather put $300,000 into a property that you can own, live and be sheltered from the weather, or would you rather spend $300,000 in one of these so-called metaverses?
Of course.
Which would you rather do?
Well, of course,
honestly.
Absolutely. Of course, I'd rather put it in real bricks and mortar. It makes sense, and you can touch it, you can feel it. I mean, there will be that balance. I'm sure in the future. But with regards to investment, we've always been taught that you shouldn't really be kind of investing with money, or you should be investing with money rather that you can afford to give away or
lose. Yeah,
exactly. And of course. Agree. And well, that doesn't, as you said quite rightly earlier on, the way I feel that it's all being promoted at the moment are towards a generation that can't really afford to do that, but are kind of, keeping their fingers crossed and hoping for the best. How that will pan out in the future, we don't really know. But realistically, that's not the way to do it.
Yeah, so kind of just to go back on the point I was trying to make with that is people are spending up to 300,000 or even more, or at least they're claiming to. And I'll come back to that in a minute. But what they're doing is they're going into these game worlds, which are, they've added metaverse onto the end. So they're not actually meeting the requirements of, say, the internet, which is what the metaverse is. It's just the internet. But they're putting their own regulations up there, their own rules. So they're going in there and then they're building their ideal house in the metaverse platforms. And they're expecting the price to rise because somebody else is going to love their vision of this shockingly low graphic building. Frankly, it's ridiculous.
Yes.
It just boggles the mind. I have no idea why people are looking to do this. I mean, what I'm going to do is probably do a video myself and to actually show people images and say, would you like this? And I think we mentioned that in our last talk, which is like with NFTs. If I take a picture of myself and I say to someone, would you spend $100 on this? No, I wouldn't. There's no reason for me to have it. Okay, cool.
Yes. Yeah.
Would you spend $1 on it? No, I wouldn't. So if there's no value outside of yourself, all that's happening is these platforms are convincing you to buy something with the idea they're kind of putting in your mind, kind of like shilling, with the perception that it's going to go up. And yet, if you just actually turn to someone and say, would you be interested? They're going to say no, because there's literally zero value in it. And again, if these platforms crash, as they are starting to do across the board, this past month, again, one major one, the biggest one now is being massively affected, OpenSea. It's just going to be a knock-on effect.
Yes.
Unless these things are free and open and transferable, it's the biggest sort of red flag. Just think for yourself, do your research. And I always say to people, please, 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 just go to the official blockchain website. Just go to CoinMarketCap and you'll see all of them listed. And they'll tell you exactly in black and white, what are the do's, what are the don'ts. So when you see these promotions, for like NFTs on Bitcoin, I keep saying, what a ridiculous thing. You can't put NFTs on Bitcoin. That's insane. So the only way to do that is to have a platform where you save that and then you pay and they just type it in, because you can't actually store that. So all of this, people are just not aware. They're seeing hype and they're getting conned, frankly, and it's fraud. And now, sadly, on platforms, it's now against policy to actually promote your crypto.
Yes.
So very good for us. Being a metaverse, we can just promote it, and the fact that we're not selling anything, we're actually within the rules to even promote Soul Token, because it's actually an educational tool being given away. We profit nothing at all, ever.
Yes.
But everybody else who's saying this coin and that coin, people are simply getting dragged down and losing everything on a hope and a dream. So coming back to the American dream side of it, it's a shame. It really is.
No,
what do you think?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, that is exactly what we are hoping, or we are doing now. And we're getting quite a lot of followers. People are asking us the question from outside of the industry as well. And I think
Yeah,
you're absolutely right. The most important thing is, or the thing for people to understand is that, of course, we would all rather be sitting here and promoting the hell out of something and how wonderful it's all going to be and everything's going to be fantastic and great, but we don't live in that world. And of course,
yeah,
like you say, for everything to be better in the future, or amazing in the future with the metaverse, we first have to unravel all of what might go wrong with it, all that might be
yeah,
bad about it, and kind of get rid of all of that, and then we've got an opportunity to really kind of develop better, be more ethical in what we do, without
yeah,
making the mistakes. Hopefully, there's always going to be a few mistakes there, but
of
hopefully
course.
without the big mistakes of the likes of Facebook that they've made over the years, whether that's intentional or not, that's a subject for another day. But we can see where those problems have arose. And with regards to the metaverse, yes, it is exciting, it is great, but
Yeah,
you're right. It's not about investment at the moment, is my personal belief. It's about building it, being a part of it, an educational space. And that's the fantastic with, the thing about with yourself and Chase Reality, is it's an open space. It's where, and also
yeah,
having people like yourself to be able to kind of tell people what it really is and how they can go about it, free and openly without making mistakes, and education.
yeah.
That's the thing. That is what we are all about here.
Yeah, I mean, our goal is to kind of launch and grow a community, kind of like how the internet was when it sort of started. I don't know
Yes,
whether you recall, was it MSN chat rooms, things
yes,
like that in the
yeah,
very
yeah,
beginning? I think I was actually in Iraq and things, fighting over there when all of that was the
yeah,
biggest thing. Everyone's in a chat room.
yes,
So soon we'll be actually launching something like that
mhm, yes,
into our next update,
yeah,
just to kind of get the community to engage with each other as a friendly community. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't believe in dystopia. Everyone be nice and everyone just be yourself, but obviously
yes,
don't go mad and do what's kind of happened with Facebook, where I think I brought it up, and then you mentioned again in your one of your recent podcasts about a lady being groped virtually,
yes,
gang raped, I believe the
yeah,
actual headline was, and she
yes,
speaks about it.
mhm,
So yeah, so we kind of looked at that, looked at the possibilities for issues, and we just said there's no need for avatars right now. What we need is a space for people to be able to enjoy,
yes,
explore, and then have their own spaces. Then they can all share that. And if people are interested, then they can engage with each other in that. So it's a good community. There's always going to be some bad actors. However, hopefully more people like yourself, myself, we can start to bring people together, educate them,
yes,
and yeah, we can kind of tackle problems as they come up, or new problems, or things that develop. But we do have some, I guess, the internet, the history of the internet has shown us a lot of the issues, and we're kind of aware of these things already. So to just say, if you're in Facebook's position and say, oh, we never saw it coming, it is ridiculous, because
yes,
the amount of trolling and harassment, um, you know, um, threats, and like there's even been suicides on
yeah,
Facebook streaming.
sure, yeah,
Um, they had an idea that terrible things could happen. So we tried to say, look, let's try and make sure none of this madness can happen in the beginning. And then as things evolve, maybe we can utilize AI to act on our behalf. So
yes,
if you begin to do something, something can pop up and just warn you,
yeah,
and just check if the other person's okay. But, maybe there'll be misunderstandings and things like that. It's human nature. But yeah, so that's a part of the policing side, but we don't want it to be totalitarian,
yes,
and we don't want it to be, you know, um, we're not trying to make a safe space. I think
mhm,
people still need to be grounded and down to earth, but
yeah,
those are my ideals. We also want to respect and include other people's ideals as well. So yes, there's going to be ups and downs, but
yeah, no, fantastic.
kind
I
of
mean,
need to approach it the way we want it to be.
Yeah, no,
We'd like to
exactly, exactly. I mean, as I say, there's going to be mistakes along the way, but our approach and education and what we're trying to do here is definitely the way forward. Chris, it's been absolutely brilliant having you on the show again. Don't forget, for the viewers, I'm going to put a link in the description for Chase Reality and everything that Chris is doing. So please kind of log on to that. Get in touch with them, because they're absolutely fantastic at what they're doing, and they do it in the right way as well. Okay. And also, don't forget, we've got a lot more contributors and contributions coming on from different people, and more regularly as well, 3 or 4 times a week. Breaking news, updates, latest news and things like that with Ashton Talks Crypto and Ashton in the Metaverse. So once again, thank you very much, Chris, for joining us today.
You're more than welcome. And of course, if people want to find it, we're #1 on Google. Just type in Chase Reality Metaverse or Metaverse Chase Reality. We're at the top. Feel free to come, join, discuss with us, and hopefully maybe you can, if you have a knowledge, join myself and the audience moving forward, and we can grow together.
Perfect. Great. Thanks a lot, Chris.